the fantastic thing about enlightenment is that you can never know that you're enlightened. And you can never say that you are enlightened, because in order to say that you're enlightened, you say, I am enlightened. And I am is the temporary self. The temporary self can never be enlightened. So it is always the non-I am that is the enlightened. And that within the Gurmat tradition has been referenced as you. The bigger you with a capital Y, the greater you, the oneness. So all the language of positivity has been attributed to this oneness. That you are the enlightened and I am the non-enlightened. And people have read Gurbani and used the wisdom to create a duality, saying there is the I am, there is me, and then there is a God somewhere else. So we even have shabads like Ham papi tum pap khandan. Yeah, Madho ham aise tu aisa. I'm like this and you're like that. I'm the sinner, you're the destroyer of sin. I'm good and you are bad. And people have used this to try and convince us that this is a very dualistic system. We're a monotheistic religion. There is us, the sinners, and then there is God, the enlightener. But I don't understand it in that way. To me, what that is saying is when I am in the state of me, when I am in my own individuality, that is the sin that I am in. And when I'm in the state of non-individuality, when I'm in my connected universal self, that is when I am in this state of non-sin. So the sin is being in your ego, in your own identity. The non-sin, the escape from sin, the escape from disease, from trouble, is being in this non-sense of self. But as soon as you're in the non-sense of self, you can't attribute that to your individual self. So you cannot say, I am enlightened. So the Gurus never said that I am the messenger of God, I am the son of God. If you want to know God, you have to come through me. None of that language exists, because they understood that the me is the individual. Now this is not to say that if Christ said those things, that Christ was wrong. I don't believe that. I believe Christ was an absolutely enlightened being, no greater or lesser than anyone else. But Christ, if that is the word that Christ used, and I think that's a big if, because I don't believe that the modern versions of the Bible represent exactly what the language is that was used in the original Bible, and we don't actually have anything that Christ wrote down himself. So if that was what Jesus had said, then he was not wrong in saying that, because he was not talking from his individual self. He's talking from his connected self. Come to me, come through me, I will give you the answer. I am the way. That's not to say I, me, the individual. It is to say that I have found the technique to lose this I and connect with this God. This God who is in heaven, but heaven, I think, was part of him. I am in the kingdom of my Father. So I think Christ, if he used those words, was not wrong in using those words. It was just his way of explaining it. But the Gurus have used a very different technique. They never attributed or spoke about their own enlightenment. What they have said was that I have experienced something and I know it to be an absolute truth. It is an absolute truth regardless of whether you know it or not. We have banis from the Bhagats and verses from the other saints who have said that I don't care if anybody can see this or not, I'm telling you this is an absolute fact. But again, it's not about their own individuality, it's not about their enlightenment, but it is about the truth that they have known and seen and are just desperate to share with as many people as possible.